So we're seated here, someplace close to your wall. And take a full breath in. And a long breath out. 2 more just like that. Last one, biggest breath in you've taken all day. Let your face soften. Notice any other areas of tension and see if you could soften that too. And then without opening your eyes or looking away from the floor, think about the space that you're in. The walls around you, the surface you are sitting on. The ceiling. The feel of the room. Smells, sounds. And then still, without opening your eyes or looking around, come to touch the wall or whatever you're using as a wall. And just feel it. I know it might seem kind of strange, but it's really nice for us to start to just get comfortable with the space. Notice the texture of the wall, how sturdy it is, if there's any, that flooring, what's it called? The baseboard? Anything else you can feel. Just get used to it. And then option to open your eyes and place, maybe bringing your wall, so bringing your mat so the short edge is facing the wall. I'm just gonna add a blanket here. I'm gonna put that blanket and fold it up and put it just under my seat. I'll bring my mat in a little closer too. Make sure you've got your strap or whatever you're using as a strap close by. Come to sit on your mat or your folded up blanket. And there's no really graceful way to do this. I could pretend that there is, but there's not. You're just gonna start to lean back and kind of throw your legs up the wall. So however close you are to the wall kind of depends on you, your back, your hamstrings. So the closer your bum is to the wall, the more of a stretch you'll get. And we'll be here for a lot of the class. So if you don't want to go right into a deep stretch, give yourself a good bit of space between your bum and the wall. You can always bend the knees too. And let your legs just relax into this shape. Your hands could reach wide, or they could rest on your body. And just breathe here. Notice what you can feel of the wall. Where do you make contact with the wall? Where do you make contact with the floor? And what's changed in breath, in body, in being upside down here? Notice if energetically anything has changed. So there's a lot of benefits for having our legs up the wall. It's a very gentle inversion. Can start to draw the blood that tends to pool at the feet. It'll let that blood kind of drain out, so it's nice for our circulation. You might find that your feet get a little cold or tingly when they're up here. It can also be really relaxing. If this ever doesn't feel good, you can just roll to your side, take a rest, lay on your back. And something I find when I practice up the wall is my attention gets drawn a lot more inwards. So I'm less tempted to look around side to side or be looking all over the room. We're kind of directed to just look at the wall and just look at our legs, maybe the ceiling too. There's something kind of calming about that. This is a forward fold, and it can have those kind of effects too. So you might find that your legs have stretched out a little and you want to kind of walk your bum in a little closer to the wall. And then pull your right leg in towards you. You can hold on to thigh or shin. Use your exhales to pull your leg in a little closer. Inhale, find space. Exhale, come in. And then if you're using a strap, which I recommend, feel free to grab a hold of that now and place it around the ball of your right foot and really give yourself a lot of space on the strap. So if you're tempted to hold it like this, where you're trying to get close to your foot, see if you can release that and bring your elbows down to the ground. Nice way to release the shoulders, tension that tends to build there, just by changing up the grip. And you can start to bring your foot in a little closer. You could reach your heel up to the ceiling and then pull your foot back. You can bend the knee as much or as little as you'd like. We're just aiming for some nice sensation into the back of the leg. And over time, you might find you get a little more space and you can start to pull your foot a little closer. And then reach and grab your strap with both straps with your right hand. Bring your left arm way out to the side. And you can start to pull your right leg out to the right side. I like to have my elbow on the ground still. And just use your strap to support your leg. The aim is to find a nice bit of sensation on the inner line of your right leg. Try to keep your left leg where it is, left hip heavy. And stay here and breathe for a few more breaths. I don't know if the mic has been picking it up, but there's this like continuous drop still happening. So if you're picking it up, as much as I'll try to fix it throughout class, it might just continue to happen. Maybe you start to time your breath to it. Breathe in for 3 drops, breathe out for 3 drops. When you're ready, bring your right foot back to center here. Release the strap, put it down beside you, and grab a hold of your left leg. And take a few breaths to pull the knee in towards your chest. Then start to extend that leg. You could hold on to the thigh or join me in placing that strap around the ball of the foot. Slide your hands down the strap until your elbows are comfortably resting down. And that sweet hamstring calf stretch. Bring both straps into your left hand. Reach your right arm out to the side. Keep heavy on the right side as you start to pull your left leg out to the side. And don't give yourself the intention of having your foot touch the floor. Just aim to feel sensation on the inside of your left leg and hip. So I don't know how much you can see with the way the camera's set up here, but if my intention is to bring my foot way down to the ground, I kind of start to lose some integrity in this leg, and sometimes that's okay, but it's just not really what we're aiming for in this class. So the further down my left foot goes, the more my right hip lifts, and I'm kind of leaning to one side. Try to keep right hip heavy. Just aim to feel the stretch into the left leg. Aim for sensation over aesthetics. And sometimes it's fine to want a pose to look a certain way or whatever, but in our practice today, really just focus on the inside, the breath, the sensation. Just give your ego a bit of a break. When you've had enough, bring your leg back up, release the strap, place it to the side, and just let your legs hang out up here. And start to bend your knees and slide your feet down the wall until the soles of your feet can come onto the wall there. So for me, that means sliding away a bit. If you've got the sticky mat underneath you, sometimes it's more of a bum walk away. And this is our wall squat. So some people like to have their toes reaching up. Others prefer to have their toes out a little bit. And the aim here is to feel a nice sensation in the hips, back of the legs a bit, inner thighs. This is a nice way to add in all the, like that sweet stretch of a squat without any pressure on your knees or ankles. So if you're someone who has a really hard time squatting down without using a block under your hips or anything like that, this is a really nice passive way to work on that. You might find that you're just kind of moving your feet around to find that perfect place to hang out. Your hands can rest wherever you'd like. Sometimes it's nice to bring them to the insides of the thighs or knees. Every exhale washes away a little bit of tension or tightness. And take 3 more of your own breaths here. And then close up your knees like you're closing a book. And drop your knees to the right side. You might find that you can rest your feet against the wall. Reach your arms wide. Maybe look to your left thumb. Again, you can take a bit of moving around. That kind of goes without saying at this point. You might find that it feels kind of nice to gently press your feet against the wall. You could rest your right hand on your left thigh and breathe full and deep into your belly. When you've had enough of this stretch, roll all the way over onto your right side and just breathe here. And come back to laying on your back with your feet on the wall. Reach those arms wide and drop your feet to the left. Look to the right. Maybe rest left hand on right thigh. And it's kind of incredible the difference having your feet on a wall makes for this twist. We do a twist like this in just about every yoga class, or at least the ones I teach. And Just simply having your feet resting on something can really change the pose. That little tiny bit of pressure, a foot to wall, you'll feel a whole new sensation. And go for about 3 more slow, steady breaths. And roll all the way onto the side. From here, roll onto your back, feet to the wall. Extend your left leg. And again, this is a really nice one to kind of shuffle yourself a little further away from the wall. Lift your right leg and bring your right ankle over your left thigh. You might already be feeling this in the outer right hip. Otherwise, you can start to bend your left knee and slide your left foot down the wall. The more you flex this right foot, the more you might feel some sensation of reaching your right knee to the wall. You can even place a hand there if that feels okay. Try to soften the shoulders, your face. And over time, you might be able to lift your heel away from the wall and come onto your tippy toes. And that will deepen the sensation too. So our wall pigeon, or figure 4. And go for 2 more breaths here. Stretch your left leg long. Bring your right heel to the wall. And then just switch sides. Left ankle over right thigh. Bend your right knee, foot to the wall. Flex left foot. Encourage left knee towards the wall. So a lot of the time in class, I see people reaching for their thigh here, and their head and shoulders are lifted up off the mat. And that can add quite a bit of stress and tension, not just into your shoulders and neck, but into the pose, the whole experience of it. So I really love this variation. You get to kind of melt into this pose, more like you would a passive pigeon pose where you're facing forward with your forehead on the mat. When you've had enough, let this go. You might wiggle a little closer to the wall. Not very elegant, little waddle. Let's try a butterfly pose here. So bring the soles of your feet together, knees wide. Now, personally, I always find the wall kind of crunchy against my feet. So I like to just stick a blanket there and hold it in place with my feet. My feet are kind of opening like a book, knees wide, and I like to press my hands into my legs here. Again, shoulders stay quite soft. Nice stretch for the inner hips. Your wall butterfly. Again, pretty knee and ankle friendly if usually you find this pinchy and uncomfortable. You choose how close the feet are towards you. Some people also like to do this with their arms overhead or even resting your head in your palms, just chilling out. Now, if you really love butterfly, feel free to stay here. Otherwise, we'll come into a slightly different variation of a similar stretch. So you can walk your feet up the wall and then let them fall apart. Our wall straddle, our wall wide legs. So you get a little bit more into the hamstrings here. Gravity works to slowly pull your feet down over time. And if your neck is feeling at all stiff, feel free to look to one side, breathe a few breaths there, and then switch sides. Make sure that you're not feeling anything in the knees. If you do start to feel anything, bend the knees. Maybe scoot a little further away from the wall. Take 3 more breaths here. And then bring your feet together and in. And I like to just have my feet on the wall, knees together, or you can hug your legs in and come into that little ball shape. Now you can stay right here if you want to experiment with a little more of a shoulder stand. Feel free to walk your feet up the wall until you can get the whole foot down, nice and easy. Palms land down beside the body. And then start to press your feet into the wall and lift your hips. You might find that you can move your blanket or whatever you were on to the side. Walk your feet up a little higher and bring your hands to your low back. And just support yourself there. So make sure that you're not really cranking the neck, you're not putting any pressure on the neck. Feeling most of the weight in the back of your shoulders, very light on your head. If you want, you can experiment with lifting one leg and the other. It's a nice way to get comfortable with your shoulder stand. If this feels at all uncomfortable in your neck, lower down. Go for one more slow, steady breath. Release your hands and roll your spine down, nice and gentle. And take a few breaths to Really gently roll off to one side, doesn't matter which. You can stay here and hang out there a bit longer. Or we'll do a little bit of upper body stuff against the wall here. So I really love this variation of, we kind of do something similar to it when we're laying on our backs in class sometimes. So you could stand next to the wall or just kneel or whatever. Let's extend the right arm against the wall and bring your fingertips to point back behind you, palm against the wall. And over time, you'll just slowly turn to start to look away from the wall. Nice big stretch into the chest, the shoulder. You can turn as much as you'd like. As much as your shoulder and elbow allow. When you've had enough of that side, bring the opposite palm to the wall and turn away from it. Each side's probably going to be a little bit different. And turn to face the wall. This isn't going to be a very good angle, sorry. We're going to bring both hands against the wall. You can walk them up as high as you'd like. And then start to let your heart and head kind of melt in towards the wall. So this is the wall version of our melting heart pose. The aim is to feel a nice stretch into the chest. So try to keep your hips and knees an even distance away from the wall. The heart melts down and in. And just stay there for 3 breaths. Nice big inhale. Exhale, melt a little deeper. 2 more. And last one. And then walk your hands down along the wall. And they'll all come to seated. So you could be kneeling, you could be sitting with your back against the wall, cross-legged. And usually we do Shavasana laying down, but we've done a lot of laying down today. So you might be craving to sit up. Really do whatever you want. And I'm going to throw a blanket under my seat so it's nice and comfy. And then I'll also bring one for over my shoulders for some nice grounding and just because it's cozy and toasty. And let yourself relax against the wall. And just breathe here. There's nothing else you need to do. No more poses. Nothing to think about. For just a few more precious moments. And this is all you've got to do. Enjoy all the benefits of your practice. Notice your heartbeat. Your pulse. How good it feels to be in your skin. Bring one hand to your heart and one hand to your belly. Again, find breath, find heartbeat. Being present to life happening. Send a mental thank you to your body. To the roots of our yoga practices. To the space that you're in that holds your practice. The walls around you, especially today. And send the biggest thank you to yourself for carving out this time in your day to practice, maybe trying out something new. Thank you so much for being here with me and practicing with me today. Peace.